What is up? This is Metal Gets Me High, episode 45. We have a very special guest. Ramon will be joining us shortly, but we have Arian. Arian is in a number of bands in the Tennessee area. How are you doing today, Arian?
I'm doing very good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. It's a day off. I've got a lot done, and I was really looking forward to this. Before speaking with you, I checked out the two projects of yours that I know, which are Pissrot and now Chunked, and it's really good stuff, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. We had just talked right now. You mentioned you're 16 years old, and to be able to put out the level of music that you're putting out is really incredible to me. Someone who's just kind of starting my journey with music. Um, like can you go into your background as far as music when you picked up instruments and kind of got into heavy music?
Yeah, absolutely. I picked up a guitar in first grade, and my dad has raised me on metal music. Like I was like 6 years old in the car listening to Amon Amarth and things like that. So I've been raised since I was a little kid on metal music, and I've played all through elementary school, middle school, and high school. So
Okay. That's super sick, especially like you saying Amon Amarth as a younger kid. I think that's a
yeah,
pretty cool band to kind of figure out early, just because for everyone, I feel like it's the same. It's like Metallica, Pantera, Sepultura, those types of bands. But I think that's a cool scope to kind of take you in a different path, maybe most go.
yeah, I went in backwards because I ended up going through all the beginner stuff way after I was already head first in.
That's super cool. That's super cool. Um, as far as like when did you make the switch over from like being a music fan and playing instruments to, hey, I want to start making my own?
Well, me and my buddies in Pissrot, they're twins. We've been best friends since second grade, and in fifth grade, actually, we just one day on the playground, we decided to start beating on a table with some sticks, and we made a band out of that, and we ended up getting real instruments, getting a drum set, getting a bass, and playing all together. And we played the talent show that year, and it was terrible, but we started that year. It was great.
That is so cool, man. And I see that with Piss Rot, you've played some shows. I know you were on a bill with a friend of the show, Noxus. Um, to be doing what you're doing at such a young age is awesome. What has playing live been like for you?
At first, it was really nerve wracking. I think that goes for most people, but now it's just all fun. I love seeing our friends come out and see us and like go crazy in the pit and everything. Um, but yeah, David from Knox,
Okay.
I watched that episode actually. Knox has helped us out a lot, and they got us that show. They messaged us like personally because we share now productions. They did a release and they just decided to message us about it, and we talked to our parents about going all the way up to Ohio. We went up there and met a lot of really cool people and got some connections going.
That's sick, especially because Ohio is everyone knows is like just such a hot area for heavy music right now. Just a thriving scene. So and it makes sense. Like your music definitely is like falls in line with what's going on in that
Yeah,
area.
all of those Ohio bands,
As
man,
far as like
they're great. Sorry, this
I'm with
delay is
you,
messing it
man.
up.
Like some of my favorite bands right now. Yeah, like I love obviously like Sanguisugabog and all of their side projects. Like there's this Putrid Stew EP that just came
Yeah,
out that I've been playing so much lately. And of course, like 200 Stab Wounds. It's a freaking Mutilatred.
hmm
Here,
we met a
one moment.
lady
Looks like
down
Ramon
there.
just out here with
Okay.
me at.
I had to get some shit done. What's going on, man?
What's up?
Interrupt the conversation. Go ahead and continue doing your thing.
No, no, no problem at all. Something I was kind of wondering, like, with Pissrot, it's more of a band, but then with Chunk, how is it different? Like, creating music within like a band where you have other people, input versus like, hey, I'm in charge. Is it easier or harder for you?
I think it's easier. With Chunked, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, so I could just get in there and do it. Um, but with Pissrod, it's still easy. We work together really well because we've been friends forever and we know what each other likes. But solo is what I prefer to do. I got a lot of solo projects. I do a bunch of like black metal and dungeons and stuff too. But that's my other personality
Okay,
I do that with.
that that's sick, man. Because like I think I like black metal myself, and I think that like it it's hard to like mix the two tastefully. So I can imagine why you would have to, make these different projects just to scratch different itches.
Yeah.
So you're in Tennessee. Can you get like how is the scene in your area in Tennessee? Um,
Well,
I'm not as familiar with Tennessee.
yeah. Well, there's not much going on in Tennessee at all. We're there's like a couple solid local bands, but not much at all. In a city about an hour away from us called Knoxville, there's a bunch of hardcore bands, and they got a really good hardcore scene. We're playing on that fest down there, but other than that, pretty much nothing. Brodekin is from like an hour from us. Oh, and Whitechapel's from there too, but those are the
Okay,
only things really come out of.
that's the band.
So it's a pretty young now. There's not too much. It's pretty cool that you guys are kind of like keeping that scene in a sense.
Sorry, remote. You're cutting out pretty
There's
bad.
not.
We can't hear you.
Oh, here, give me a sec. I'll be
But
right.
but to touch on it, I like you said, the only band that I had really ever heard of in regards to Tennessee is Whitechapel, and they're definitely one of the like the first heavier bands that I got into once I got done with my more like thrash groove stage in in the metal journey.
Yeah, I used to love some Whitechapel. Their first three albums are great. I'm not too big on their new stuff though, but I mean, you got to make your money.
Yeah, you know what though? I'm kind of with you. Uh oh. Oh, there you go. Sorry, it went away for a second, but I'm kind of with you. With the exception, I really did like their release, "The Valley." I think that one was a little bit more of like a return to form, but they're kind of doing this weird like Tool inspired
Yeah,
metal thing that I'm like, I don't know if that works. But
I mean, enough people like it. Good for them. That's good, but they still have some great stuff,
yeah,
so it
yeah,
doesn't matter to me.
I'm with you. I saw them recently with or not maybe not recently, but about a year ago with Cannibal Corpse Vacation, and they still brought it, and got to see some other stuff that was dope too.
Yeah, that's sick.
Like, in your area, where do you like when you go to shows? What area do you usually go to?
So most shows come, most good shows come like 3 hours away. We're kind of in the middle of like Charlotte, North Carolina, and there's Asheville, which gets some stuff sometimes. And then there's Knoxville, Tennessee, and Nashville, Tennessee. But other than that, not much comes around.
Okay, that's fair. That's like I mean, we're not as bad as far as like how far we have to go, but where we are, we're every show is about an hour and a half away, so it's a big commitment when we do go to shows. That's why we only really get one a month to attend because of that.
Yeah, that would be cool. I wish we're
As
trying to
far
get
as
more
like,
here locally,
sorry,
like
go
try
ahead.
to bring some bands in to play with us, but not much luck so far.
It's difficult, and as you guys get older and you're able to operate more freely as far as touring in different areas, I think that'll help you a lot. Just being able to hit areas, being that you've hit the road. Where are some places that you've played so far?
So we went up to Dayton, Ohio, and to Akron, and those were our first out of state shows, and we only played those two, but they were great, and we're gonna go back up there this summer, trying to get that figured out. There's
Oh,
gonna be a
that's exciting,
big festival up there that we're gonna jump on.
man. That's really exciting to hear. Um, as far I mean, it's big. I'm sure if it's a festival too, it'll be cool to see bands that you probably look up to and appreciate and can learn something from.
Definitely. I don't know if I'm allowed to give any spoilers, but I think we're playing with Scab Hag, and I'm so excited about that. They are they are great. I'm so excited to play with them.
They are. That's
Mhm.
super incredible. As far as like with I'm being that I've just kind of got into guitar. What is the guitar that you play, and like what's your setup? Because from what I see, you record all your stuff on your own. Is that right?
Yeah, we do everything in my bedroom at this computer behind me. Uh, I play a I play a BC Rich Mockingbird right now, and I love that thing.
Nice.
I I have one that's and it's not the same guitar, but it looks similar to John McEntee's from Incantation, and that was the goal. I love that guitar. It's sharp and it plays really well, and I got it cheap because BC Rich doesn't want to make affordable guitars anymore.
Yeah, you're right about that. Like all these bronze series now going for like 5 to 700 bucks on
Yeah,
Reverb.
when you could get them for 200 5 years ago.
And that's like the fun. It seems like there's certainly a revival with death metal where it's in a really good place, and that's like one of the things that kind of comes with that is everyone's trying to make an extra buck or two because something's in.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try. I want to get another one, but prices just keep getting higher on those BC Riches. But I really want to get another one.
I'm with you. There's the and Reverb. There's this Mockingbird that's been sitting in my cart for a little while, but I think my problem is I'm probably going to end up getting a Jackson myself because I play a Fender Telecaster. Great
Mm.
guitar, but it doesn't have like maybe the tone that I want.
Yeah, with death
The
metal,
one
I don't
I
know
like her most.
if that's what you play mostly, but with death metal, that I
It
Undeath
doesn't.
does it somehow. Undeath plays like a Strat or something, but they're crazy. You should get that
They're
Mockingbird.
one of my favorite bands.
We had Alex
I
on.
really want to.
We how long ago did we have Alex on now? Are we talking
That
about
was
Undeath?
a
I'm sorry.
couple, like probably I think in October.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's a cool ass dude.
Yeah, you guys had some pretty
Undeath,
big
man.
names
That
on here.
that band. I don't. It, and that's like the cool thing is we've made everybody that we've talked to. We've just either hit them up or we've met them at shows because, uh, you know, it's crazy how far just saying hello to somebody in a band that you really like will take you, and you just find out that everyone in this genre is really cool because like people singing about crazy shit. You would think that people were weird or maybe rude, but no, everyone's The coolest people, man.
Yeah, I've had that reaction a lot of times because people like see me, think, watch us play, and think I'm a terrible person, and then I'm just pretty normal.
You're like, "What's up, man? How you doing?"
Yeah,
Just,
exactly.
shit. Yeah, it's really cool to see
Do
just
you do
how
you
down to
are
earth
do you have
everybody is.
like being that you're in school? Yeah, being that you're in school, like, do you have like certain shirts that maybe you ride the line on maybe getting in trouble at school? Is that something you run into?
Well, luckily they're not very strict on it. I pretty much wear whatever. They don't care anymore. People run around the school with Pissrot shirts on, and they don't care that it says piss on it. But
That's
I
pretty badass.
yeah, we live in the Bible Belt of East Tennessee, so I got to be careful with like the satanic imagery stuff. I don't wear those shirts out in public
Yeah.
usually.
I feel you, man.
That's fair.
A
That's
small
fair.
little I live out in a small little farm town, and I have the Cradle of Filth shirt that says Jesus is a cunt on the back, and
Yeah,
that I can't be wearing that around. I can wear that at the house, but not around.
yeah.
Oh, I went to like some weird like street fair doing some normal shit with my family, and I was wearing a dying fetus shirt, and just seeing the looks I was getting, I was like, oh, they just and like my hopes when I do that is like hopefully I just get one person who's just like, what the fuck is dying fetus? Let me go look this up, and then maybe they end up liking that.
Exactly.
That's
Especially if you get that one with the
As,
big block letters,
as
is
far
where they could really read
yeah.
it.
And that's why dying fetus it works perfectly because
that's
Yeah.
that's
those
the one.
block
It's
letters you can see
big
from a
block
mile
letters. It
away.
says "Reign Supreme."
I had to subject it to a beating one that's got the big block letters, someone getting curb stomp on the front. I'm not allowed to wear that
Yeah,
one around though.
I love that shirt. I describe that shirt as probably the most ignorant shirt I've ever seen,
It
but in the
it's
best
so
way. Like I'm
stupidly
I'm a
ignorant,
huge fetus
but
fan.
it's amazing.
That's hella funny.
Who was the first band, Arian, that death metal or heavy band that you got to experience live?
When I was 7 years old, my dad took me to Mayhem Fest 2013, and there was like Rob Zombie, Amon Amarth, Mastodon was on there, Children of Bodom, Battlecross, Machine Head. There was a bunch of sick bands on there, and I got to experience that when I was that little. And actually, one of the guys from Amon Amarth, they weren't as big then as they are now because it's crazy how big they are now. They gave me a free Coke and everything, and I got their autographs. They were awesome.
That's pretty badass. Let's say a band like Amon Amarth, how big they are. You're like you have that memory of them, you know.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I could
Shit.
be that
What's
guy that's like, I knew
It's
them
funny you say
before
that too,
they were
because
so big.
it's
I have a
crazy too,
question.
because like
Go ahead.
those were my first shows. Those were my first shows. Were the Rockstar Energy Mayhem Fest, and I'm sad that something like that isn't available to people
God,
these
I
days
wish they would
because
bring it
like
back.
as because like those were my formative years where like yeah I'm going there to see like the first year that I went was Slipknot, Slayer, Motorhead. It's like yeah I'm there to see those bands, but like you know seeing like bands on the side stage that like I had never heard of, and those bands leaving their mark, I think as that's a really good type of festival for younger people because they get to see not just the stuff they want to see, but other things that could open up different doorways for them.
Definitely. I wish they would bring something like that back. There hasn't been anything since then that's been on that same level.
Yeah, with like
I'm
a
100% with
company
you.
with
What
Rockstar
was your point, Razor?
promoting it. No, I was just
Yeah.
I wanted to ask because we were touching on his first show. Now, what's the your most favorite show you've ever been to? Like you've experienced, I would say, or more maybe not favorite, but most memorable.
That's a really good question. I've been to a lot of shows since then. We go we go to quite a few. Um, hmm. I saw Shadow of Intent and Brand of Sacrifice and Signs of the Swarm and Inferi, and that show, Shadow of Intent is my favorite
Dude,
band, and that show
Shadow
was so good.
Shadow of Intent goes hard.
They
They
are
go
so
fucking
good.
hard.
They are so good.
Great band.
And I'm not even that big of a fan of like
That
um
vocalist,
Signs of the
seeing him
Swarms with
live.
their deathcore and stuff, but they did really well, and I knew every single Shadow of Intent song they played, so it was like
Even
amazing.
better.
And
Yeah,
the
fucking
sound guy killed it that night too. It was so good.
that's dope.
Just like that guy is so talented because the way he's able to like use his voice but go extremely fast. I think that's one thing in heavy music that is very difficult is cadencing really fast with aggressive vocals, and seeing that guy in person do it and knowing that it's really him doing it was definitely eye opener. I'm like, this
Oh,
band's got
he is one
uh
of the best
they've
vocalists
got a
out there
long
right
track
now.
record.
His lung
Fuck yeah.
capacity is insane. That goes along
I'm
with what
glad.
you
I'm glad.
said. He holds that stuff out for like 20 seconds
And I
straight.
like that,
It's ridiculous.
and I like
What were
that
you
you
saying?
like them because like your music is in my opinion very different compared to Shadow of Intent. But like hearing that you're not just listening to death metal, kind of veering out. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, I listen to all sorts of things and I can respect all sorts of music. I understand I understand when people are talented, and even if it's not my thing, I can respect it.
Yeah, you know what? Me and Justin hit on that a lot. Like, something's not necessarily bad. It just not might it might not be your flavor. Like me, I love spicy food. I know people that can't handle that shit. So it's like people just have their different flavors. It's
Exactly.
not necessarily bad.
Who, as far as like guitar playing, have been your biggest inspirations? Like, who made you want to pick up a guitar, and then maybe someone who just changed how you looked at the guitar. You're like, oh, I want to see what they're doing different.
Well, my dad played in a band a long time ago, and he always played guitar when I was growing up. So that's why I picked up the guitar in the first place. And we played he taught me a lot of things. I never had any lessons except from him, but he wasn't he wasn't great. But we learned some jungle rock songs together when I was pretty little and played a lot together, and that was my main inspiration. But further than that, um, uh, the dudes from Devourment, I love the way they play. It's so
Okay.
simple, but they chug so hard.
Just fucking heavy.
Hmm.
Dude, and that's a band where they were under my radar for a long time until some of these newer bands got bigger and started shouting out Devourment. So I've recently gotten into them, and it's I could see, I know what you mean. Like they're just absolutely brutal. It's like caveman riffs, but they freaking sound great, man.
Yeah, they're stupidly brutal and simple, but I mean it works for me, and I love the way it sounds. So that's why I don't do that much
Simple's
on the
not a bad
guitar
thing.
with Pissrot, but simple works. Yeah.
Well, you also on so I was looking at Chunk, the Bandcamp for Chunk, and I love in the description it just says there's no flash, there's no flare in it. This is just fucking like this is to the point death metal, and I'm like I fucking love that. So like that simpleness, it goes a long way, 100%.
The chunk stuff doesn't even move past the fourth fret, but I
I
love
love
the
it.
way it
I
sounds.
love it. Oh shit.
think that's what's fun about this music right now too is really how simple it is. The riffs just get so catchy and stuck in your head, and that's something that I got out of your release. And I love the guitar tones, like just very dirty production. Being
Yeah.
that you do that yourself, like how did you kind of start like producing, mixing stuff? How did you learn that?
Oh, I mean, I everything I know is just stuff I've been messing around with. I don't really know too much about it. I'm just doing my best, but I've been doing it. I use a really simple program called BandLab, and everything on there is really dumbed down and simple. So you can't like customize it too crazy, but it's really easy to work with. I've tried using some of the other stuff, but it's so hard to figure out. I just
Dude,
use the simple stuff, I guess.
there's just so many different things to adjust and get right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for you working on music, how like, let's say like chunked, how long did something like that take you to create?
I work pretty quickly with Chunked. I think I did that EP in the span of like 4 or 5 days. Had it all written and then started recording and mixing and mastering, messing around with everything. That took longer, but writing it was pretty easy. Just simple format, simple riffs.
You came out fucking pretty great. So
Hey,
hey, that
that's
simpleness, like I said,
crazy
it
to
goes a
hear.
long way.
Yeah,
Like I told you earlier, talking to you, I'm just like, man, I'm a 27-year-old man, and I am nowhere near as capable of doing anything musically as you. Like that is so sick, man. I can't tell you how like I the bar for heavy music right now, say like a band like Wretched Inferno, young kids making killer music like so early in their career. I can't imagine, the things like you guys and them will be doing, other bands included, just at like 22. You know what I mean?
yeah. That. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me, and I loved Wretched Inferno. You need to get them on this show or something. They're
Yeah,
doing a
dude,
lot. I've tried to talk to them a couple times, but never really didn't work out. Maybe I'm gonna try to do a split with them. Maybe that would be cool.
that would be
But you need to
badass
get
right
them on
there.
here.
Dude,
Yeah,
Tell
that's
tell
please,
them I
that would
tell them I
be
sent
sick.
you.
I will try because I will, and we've spoke to a lot of bands in their area because Boston's got a really good scene. Even like a band like Frog Mallet, where they're a younger band too, and like the music they're putting out, the Sean,
just
like it's
ridiculous.
freaking
Dude,
crazy, man.
They're crazy.
dude, it is. Yeah,
And
that's
I,
Yeah,
great.
and
Reg,
like I think that's part of the reason heavy. Sorry, go ahead.
I saw Wretched Inferno is going like a on a full Eastern Coast tour with Bonganator. That's
Oh
crazy.
man, hey,
That's
uh,
crazy.
Yes.
he the gentleman from Bonganator, that's a bad motherfucker too. I love that guy. He's
He's
cool as fuck.
hilarious. He
We
is
talked
I
to him.
hilarious.
cannot
He's
wait for that
hilarious.
album. I cannot wait for that album. And something I really loved that I thought was funny was they put out these again, great piece of merch. It's ignorant, but it's great. A pink hoodie that said "Break Edge XXX" in the back, and I was like, that's just freaking funny. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah. He's got a great sense of humor.
I
Mm.
would love to buy that thing too, but unfortunately, a hot pink just, like I'm pretty much a black t-shirt guy.
The black
I think
A
you
t-shirt.
can
pink
pull it
hoodie,
off.
that is, I wish.
Yeah. Hey, turn it
I
into a
got a
cutoff
pink
and take
full
it
of
to the
hell
gym,
shirt
bro.
that I like to wear. No, 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 no cutoff, man, no cutoff at all. What are like with music? What are some of your goals as far as like what do you like want to accomplish as far as like, are there certain bands that you want to tour with, or a split you want to do? What are some things that like you want to put out there and try to make happen?
I want to go all across America on some type of tour. There's a lot of bands I want to play with, but recently, this lady named Tia who books for the Foundry in Cleveland, we gave her a CD and she gave it to Steve from 200 Stab Wounds. I would love to play with 200 Stab Wounds. Sang with
Hell
Sugar
yeah,
Bog, all of those bands like that. The
man.
list goes on forever.
Yeah, and there's so many good death metal bands right now that like there's so many opportunities for you to like
Mm,
to find find a really cool package and go out with because yeah the death metal scene in particular is fucking exploding right now.
hmm absolutely.
And it's I just keep harping on it, but I just being that you're so young, man, I just cannot wait to see the music that you put out. Like being that you're so young, like do you see yourself like when you turn 18 or so, like do you see yourself hitting the road pretty full time, or is this you just want to focus on cranking out as much new music as possible?
Well, I think as soon as we all get out of high school, we're all in the same grade. I think we were gonna try to do some type of tour like that. I think that's what Wretched Inferno is doing. But as far as like a full time career, I don't know how well it would. I know that's a tough life to live like that. So I don't know if that's something I want to do like full
Yeah.
time, but I would definitely try it.
Yeah, hell yeah, you got to try it, right? At least
Yeah,
once.
you
Be
have
like,
to.
hey,
You
Hey,
have
man.
to.
I think you guys, yeah, I think you guys can do it because I mean, dude, you said you guys have been a band since fifth grade. That's a lot of time that you've put in, a lot of hours, a lot of dedication. So I think there's no reason that you guys can't do it. It's just uh, you guys are just young, and once you could put your foot all the way on the gas, I'm sure you guys are gonna do it. And I think you guys are uh, gonna do, like, dude, that Pissrot release last year was is something that just kind of, I don't even know how I found it. I think the person I found it was a guy named Crypticus. I think he's how I found it, and absolutely killer.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
is good.
since we're starting young, we can try it for a few years, and if it doesn't work, then we have plenty of time to do something else.
Yeah, that absolutely blows my mind finding
Yeah,
out because I
definitely.
missed the first part of it. You guys started together in fifth grade. Um, that's pretty nuts to me. Like, how long did it take you guys to find the sound of piss rot? Like from fifth grade, like a couple, like was it like pretty immediate? Was it like just within the last couple of years?
Oh no.
Yeah, with just a couple little
Uh-oh.
technical difficulty.
Hold on a second.
He's
Oh,
good.
you're
He's right
good.
here. Probably just disconnected. But that's crazy, dude. I didn't know. I missed the first part of it, and I didn't
What?
know that. Yeah, there we go. He's back.
Can you see me?
Can't see. I can hear you though. We can hear
I
you.
can't see you, but I could hear you.
Okay. Do you want me to try to fix it real quick?
That's fine though.
Oh, yeah, do your thing.
No, you're good, man.
Okay.
Don't even worry. We'll kind of start winding it down too, so that don't even worry
All
about
right.
it.
But yeah, I
Well,
was saying,
Uh,
with it just blows my mind that you guys started that early. How long did it take to find the sound of like piss rot? Like,
well,
and was there any other music that you guys made in that long span of time that just is never going to see the light of day?
there is so much music that will never see the light of day. We did not find our sound until probably a couple months before we released the EP last year.
Oh
We
shit! Okay.
we we
okay.
tried to have this thrash metal band. Kind of, it was terrible, you know, but it was a learning experience. We learned a lot. We played one show, and it was at a church, and that was a learning experience. Then we had some other little death metal things going, but they never really we never really did anything with it. And then Pissrot is the first thing we came out with, and we're gonna stick with it.
Yeah,
It's
hell
working
yeah.
for us.
Hey, you
Okay.
guys better. Hey, just hit the ground and just keep running. Don't stop.
we won't. We won't.
As far as like your music listening to habits, like do you find yourself listening to the stuff that maybe influences you more, or do you also check out new releases pretty frequently?
Yeah, I stay pretty up to date on all the new stuff coming out, but the stuff that influences me, I come back to it all the time. Mostly molesting the decapitated, devourment, that heavy influence of devourment, and a lot of the '90s brutal death, like internal bleeding and suffocation, stuff like that. But I stay up to date with the new stuff coming out, and
Totally makes sense.
yeah, all there's so much new stuff. It's so good.
Yeah, there's too
What are
much new
some
stuff, and I love it.
recent releases?
Oh
What
my
are some
gosh,
recent releases that you've been kind of enjoying?
the new Stabbing album is amazing. I love that album.
Super
That's a
sick.
great
Um,
fucking album right there.
mhm.
Agreed. That was a sick album.
um, I'm a huge Fluids fan, so basically anything they put out, I love. I have like a huge collection of their stuff.
Okay.
Um,
Fuck yeah.
They're pretty frequent too.
Noxus
I
just put out
definitely.
this live album on Frozen Scream's imprint, and I've been listening to it all day.
Knox
It's
is
a good
Wretched
one.
Inferno's new album was so good.
yeah, there's so
Uh,
many. It's
That was a
ridiculous.
great album too.
there's so much stuff. It's kind of hard to remember.
It
It
really is. I
really
have a
is.
whole list in my phone
Yeah,
when I try to find something.
And that's what's crazy is like whenever you hear people say that like there are no new bands, it's like, man, I wish that were the case for me because like I've constantly have like 20 albums on queue in Bandcamp just trying to get through, and there's good stuff, and I even know there's good stuff that I miss out on.
oh yeah, definitely. I find stuff that I missed come back to, like stuff that came out a couple years ago or last year that I kind of like skipped over, and I shouldn't have waited. It's great. I'm kind of sleeping on the new Sanguisugabog album, and I know that I shouldn't be doing it. I know I'm gonna come back to it in like a month and love it, but
Yeah, that album. We have a buddy.
We're very
He's the other
fortunate. We're
co-host, and he spins that fucking album like every day. He
yeah,
spins it like once a day.
that's what happened
and
with
I've been doing the
their
same
first
recently
album.
because
I kind of slept on it,
which
but
I like
I
this one.
Yeah,
mm,
that's a great fucking album.
I like this new album. It has like a more refined sound, in my opinion. I've just been listening to a lot because we're actually going to be seeing Bog in like 2 weeks with on that Chaos and Carnage tour, just gearing up for it, and I just get this feeling that they are so much better live than in the studio. I don't know what proof I have to say that, but I get this feeling, and I cannot wait to scratch that band off my list.
they are. I saw them with I saw them with Nile and Incantation. That was such a good show. But they are so good live. Their energy
Man,
is insane.
cool. Well, we'll wind it down. We've got I've got two last questions for you. The
All right.
first one is, I'm sure you get this because you're in school, but like if when somebody comes up to you and it shows interest in getting into heavy music, what is usually like a good starting point that you give to people where you're like, hey, if you like heavy music, you'll probably like this.
Um, I every time I try to get someone into it, it doesn't work. So I don't know if my band choices are too great. Um, hmm. Oh my gosh, I can't think of anything.
Okay, it happens. Maybe you just show 'em Mortician like your shirt says. Throw
I
them in
think
the
I've
deep
done
end.
that. I think I've done that before.
hey, sometimes you gotta throw them into the deep end.
I've
You
done
gotta
that.
see if they
Yeah,
can swim,
because yeah, and then maybe they'll like it. I have no
Exactly.
success with getting people into it though. Well, we played the talent show not that long ago, and a bunch of people liked it then, but I can't get anybody into it by myself.
They gotta get
What'd
it's
you
a
guys
whole
play at your
experience.
talent show?
We played we played Kidney Stone Slingshot and Primal Harvest like back to back. It was really cool. People like got out of their seats in the
That's sick,
auditorium and
dude.
stuff. Some
That's
kid
pretty
jumped off
badass.
the stage and they had to like turn all the lights on and the cops like made everybody stop. It was really cool though.
Damn, you guys had a whole mosh going at school.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that is so sick. That is incredible. Well, my last question that I have for you, uh, this is, usually I ask people who are of age this question. So I guess, you might not know, but the question that we ask is, how does metal get you high?
um, let's see. Metal gets me high because it puts me metal music puts me in a place. Hmm. It makes me feel at home.
Yeah.
Makes me feel
That's
welcome, especially the metal community. Makes me feel welcome, like I have somewhere to be.
that's a great way to put it
I
actually.
like that, man.
Uh
I know what you mean too, because like Ramon knows I'm a pretty negative dude, and like I love heavy music. I always say like it really like I don't know why this happens to be like the thing that I'm interested in because I could people would probably prefer that like I'd be more interested on like some grown adult shit, like mowing my lawn and having a mortgage and shit like that. But dude, like I'm sorry that as a 27-year-old man that I fucking love riffs and I love listening to a dude fart in a mic. I didn't choose this, but this is what I got.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that.
oh yeah.
No. Well, we will put like the some links in the description when we post this, so that way people could check out your art, whether it's Pissrot or if it's chunked. Hopefully they check out both and pick something up in your guys' Bandcamp store. Uh, we we are huge fans. Just uh, whatever we could do to support, man. We really want you guys to carry the flag and just you know freaking hold the death metal flag.
Fucking A. I couldn't have said it any
Yeah,
better myself.
thank you guys. Yeah, definitely. That'll be good.
Is there anything you want to shout out as far as like do anything upcoming or anything like that you want people to know?
Um, Shout out to Iron Fortress Records. They just recently put out our album on wax. They did a great job. The cosmetics on it are great, and they got a bunch of stuff coming out soon. They're doing like Wretched Inferno on wax. They did Seep CP on wax. Shout out to
Oh
them.
hell
They're a
yeah.
brand new label. We were actually their first release, and we
Oh,
we got
that's
a
awesome.
little something special coming out at the end of this month.
Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear right there.
Okay.
And we got our
Okay.
album
That's
that
exciting,
is
man.
our album's recorded. And we got some where everything's done. We're just waiting on some features. That's
Hell
all.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Man,
and
that
thank you
gets me
guys for
excited.
getting me on
I
here.
can't wait for new Piss
Oh
Rock.
yeah. Hey, thank you for joining
Hey,
us today.
not a
I know I
problem.
came in a little late, like sound like a robot, but thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, no problem. It was fun.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's Metal Gets Me High, episode 45. Thank you, Arian.
Thank you.
Thank you. Later, brother.